Hey guys, back here from a pet here. Today is a very exciting day for me. We're getting a 2-for-1 today. I am going to be planting a combination plant. It's half Myers lemon and half key lime. I think I picked it up at either Lowe's or Home Depot. I've been looking for a key lime tree and wasn't able to find key lime by itself, but hey, I'm getting two for the price of one. So this tree is half key lime, half Myers lemon, and it already has blossoms on both sides. So I'm really excited. So let's get started. Let me show you what I'm going to be using. Here I have some organic 3 all-purpose garden soil. This I got from Ace and I really like that it has the worm castings. And even though it has worm castings, I always add some additional worm castings to my hole. So I'm going to use some additional worm castings. Also a little bit of citrus tone, which is a citrus and fruit fertilizer. And I'm going to be using some mycorrhiza, which actually works to help the roots pick up nutrients. And lastly, I'm going to be spraying some seaweed on the leaves, but I'll show you as I go along. All right, so here I've already started working on the hole. You can see my soil is very like, you call it like sandy, loamy soil. Pretty easy to dig, but it's really sand. There's really no nutrition here. When you dig into my native soil like this, you'll never find an earthworm. Wherever you see earthworms in my soil is where I've already been building up the soil or already have mulch. So here, that's just showing you what the soil looks like. That is nothing special, nothing fancy, but that's what we have. So let's see. We want to make sure that when we plant our citrus tree or any tree, that you don't go, the root ball is just below the soil or at the same level as the soil. I always like to go a little bit below so that way when I water, the water will drain into the soil, into the plant and not just run off. So I'm gonna go down a few more inches because the root ball was still above it. And what you're gonna see me doing is after I take the soil out, I'm gonna mix in a little bit of good soil. So let's just go. Let's dig a few more inches down to make sure that when I plant my citrus, the root ball is at the same level or slightly below the level of the soil. I picked a spot in the garden that is basically full sun because citrus requires a lot of sun in order for it to bloom. The one good thing about this sandy soil is that it's pretty easy to dig. When I lived in South Florida, I had like limestone. It took like hours and hours just to dig one hole, and I usually had to get my son or my husband to help. All right, so I think this is good. Let's get here a little closer. You can see where the root ball is now, where the soil is. I'm actually gonna mix in some of the sandy soil with my garden soil to bring it up just slightly, and then we should be good to go. So this is always a good way. Just keep the plant in the pot when you're digging your hole. Also, as you notice, the width of the hole is at least twice the size of the pot because you want to give the tender roots a chance to really spread. If the soil is too compacted, the roots won't be able to spread out. All right. So let's just mix in some of that soil with the back soil with the sandy soil. All right, mixing it in. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of citrus fertilizer, just like a handful of the citrus fertilizer. And then I'm going to add this mycorrhiza. I got this online, premium mycorrhiza. You can get any brand that you want. This is just the brand that I happen to use. I've used this brand in the past and I'm pretty happy with the results I've been getting on my plants. I'm just lightly sprinkling maybe they said 1 to 2 teaspoons per gallon pot. I think this is like a three gallon pot or 2.5 gallon pot. So I have a couple teaspoons that I sprinkle in there. So that's what the hole looks like. Everything is basically, You definitely want to make sure the mycorrhiza touches the roots as you plant it. So that's like the last thing I sprinkled in. Of course, that when I water, everything is going to mix up together. All right, so let's get this plant in. Make sure that I don't like to just tug. I like to kind of loosen up the roots depending on how compacted it is, just to make sure you don't damage the roots as you pull it out. So let's just do that. I'm holding the base, turn it upside down so I can get this out without damaging the plant. And you notice I'm kind of making sure, oops, all right, so that got out. All right, there we go. Just empty the soil into the same hole. All right, so it's not root bound at all. It's looking pretty good. You can see what it looks like there. So I'm just gonna loosen the little roots at the edges, making sure everything is very, very loose. The looser it is, the better, guys. Then these roots will be able to find their way out. All right, so now I'm just gonna put some more soil around it, and we should be good to go. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see. All right, I think that's good. I think you guys should see. All right, so I'm putting some more of my soil, my garden soil in here. Just kind of evening it out, making sure that the soil does not go above the the root ball of the plant. You don't want to cover the root ball. You want to make sure everything is around. And then I'm going to take some of that sandy soil or the native soil and just continue filling it in. So as you can see, I'm mixing up the good soil and the sandy soil. And yep, there we go. So what he can do, there are two ways to do this. I'm just doing it this way. Well, what I do sometimes is I shovel the sandy soil and the good soil into a wheelbarrow, mix it up completely together, and then spread it out. I mean, that is perfectly fine, but it's really not 100% necessary, because by the time I finish watering this in, everything is going to be totally mixed together. But if you want to kind of control what ratio of native soil you have to your premium soil, then you can go ahead and do it that way. All right, so here I'm just making sure everything is covered in, and I'm bringing in some of that extra sandy soil, but yeah, it's pretty much well mixed in. All right, just need a little bit more of that sandy soil. Just want to make sure that it's up to the root ball, and I'm gonna try create a little bit of a trench around the plant, so that, as I said, as I water, the water will drain towards the plant and not away. So you have to be careful. If the root ball is high, or if you have like a trench going away from the plant, you could end up watering and all the water run off. So I like to plant, especially when I'm just planting for the first time, I always like to make like a little trench around the plant, so that way it hydrates the plant well. All right, and yep, that's pretty good. So I think we're good here. Gonna go get some mulch so we can mulch this in. And as you can see, I'm just making sure that I'm not above the root ball. With the citrus, it's a little bit tricky because the branches go so low down to the ground. I think after I'm done, I'm gonna kind of get a couple sticks to prop the branches off the ground. You never want your branches to touch soil, because then it can get, disease. So guys, here's what it looks like. I just, you can see it's right on the root line. I didn't go above the root line. And you can see I don't have the mulch directly touching. I kind of have the mulch like in a ring around it. So I'm going to water this in well. I already just sprinkled it, but I'm going to water this in well. And you're going to notice when I water it, when you see the water is pooling to the inside of the plant. It's not running off. So this is like a perfectly planted plant. So, okay guys, so what I'm doing right here is I am spraying the leaves with a combination of seaweed with aspirin. And I'm using, I think, 2 tablespoons seaweed to a gallon per gallon water, and then three baby aspirins. The baby aspirin helps to build up the immunity of the plant, and the seaweed, when you apply it via foliar spray or by spraying the leaves, 90% of the nutrients of the seaweed gets directly into the plants. Seaweed is, I've done videos in the past on seaweed. Seaweed actually has like 90 different nutrients. Anyway, so guys, this is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this encouraged you that you can go on out there and plant citrus today. There are a couple bad citrus diseases in Florida. Citrus canker and citrus greening. I'm just gonna be taking carefully watching this to make sure that doesn't happen. As you can see here, I've used a couple sticks to prop the leaves up off the soil. And that's it. That's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time. Bye now.